Thank you that we are coming up to the final finale for the first part of this event, and we are very proudly inviting the Broadway star Meghan Picerno, and also I'd like to invite Aya Takeuchi as the interviewee, so MC. So first of all, I just want to introduce a little bit about our MC, Aya Takeuchi. So she has been working in the very early stage for the establishment of the MusicforSDGs project as an assistant director. So we just sit down together between us, and we just have an exchange of brainstorming in this. So without Aya, this kind of project has not been launched. So I appreciate her contribution. And since then, she worked as an intern in the Glocha, the co-organizer for this event. So the UN recognized NGO. And finally, now she's working at the UN Women as the junior consultant. So now she's working at the UN. It's I think that she's a suitable person having the interview with the Broadway star, Meghan Picerno. So I'd like to pass my microphone to Aya for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mack. Hi, everyone. I'm Aya. Today we have Meghan Picerno, who is currently stars as an iconic leading female character, Christine Daaé, from one of the longest-running shows in Broadway history, The Phantom of the Opera, to talk about gender equality and women's empowerment based on her experiences. Before we welcome Meghan, I would like to show a short video of hers, so please enjoy.
Amazing!
Oh my gosh, I missed that. Oh, thank you.
As you can hear, she has a powerful and beautiful voice, but not only that, she has also kind, beautiful heart that she strongly believes in power of women. So please welcome Meghan Picerno. Hi, Meghan. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is such an honor to have you and discuss gender equality and women's empowerment with you. We just saw the video of yours, which was very beautiful. And my first question I'd like to ask you is that, do you think playing the role of Christine changed your life, or maybe life is too broad, but maybe has the role changed any perspective of yours? And then also I've heard that the Christine you play is a little different from how it has been, played traditionally. So I would like to hear more about it.
Sure. First of all, thank you all for having me. I can't even tell you how absolutely honored and humbled I am to have been asked to participate in this incredible event. So thank you so much. It's really wonderful to be here. And also, it's really amazing to represent my Phantom family, because it is iconic and it is an incredible legacy that is completely universal and worldwide. So I think it's amazing that I'm here to represent everyone. Yes, so Christine Daaé, for me personally, has absolutely changed my life from a standpoint of my career, but also me personally. And I've had a very unique and wonderful journey. I actually began as her more mature version in Love Never Dies, which is the sequel to Phantom of the Opera, and I was in the US premiere and first national tour. And then I went backwards in time and became my younger self as younger Christine in the Phantom of the Opera. And so that journey already has been wonderful as an actor, but also as a woman, to find out what does it feel like to be in that version of your life and then go backwards to the beginning of where it all began. But in general, too, I definitely would like to touch on the fact that our directing and music staff, indeed, how Christine is currently at the moment is a little stronger. Not a little, she's pretty strong at the moment. And I think that's the direction we're going. We have to remember, of course, that Phantom of the Opera, Love Never Dies, it is a period piece. So 2020 Meghan, I can't be 2020 Meghan on stage when I am turn of the century Christine, because she didn't have the same rights as a woman of our time does, which could be stronger even now if I say so myself. We won't go there yet, but it's really wonderful that the whole staff, Seth, our director in New York, our music director, Maestro Caddick, also our female music director and conductor extraordinaire, Kristen Blodgett, brilliant. We've really worked together, and Christine, when you go see her on Broadway, she is making choices. We also have to remember, of course, she's a teenager, and if I remember what I was like as a teenager, you make choices that aren't always the best ones, or you make mistakes, but she's living through it. And I think what's really wonderful about how Phantom of the Opera is right now, still traditional, still maintaining Hal Prince's vision, Andrew Lloyd Webber's beautiful score, and the period, but there's such an infusion of strength now. You know, she isn't a zombie that just gets taken over and walks through the mirror and follows the Phantom around. No. There's a very big difference in the sense of she chooses to do that. And that one area opens up a huge, incredible box of nuances of what each of those choices mean. And what's really wonderful now, I can tell you also, as someone who's inhabiting the role that lives that, well, usually lives it every night, waiting, can't wait to go back when we reopen, which we will, is that you take the journey as a girl to a woman. From Act 1 to Act 2, we see her give her strength and power up and then take it back. And by the final layer, that's the final scene in the show, she is powerful. It's also my favorite scene, if I say so myself. But she is very powerful. And in an absolutely out of control situation, she takes control. And it's very exciting. And it's very wonderful that I have been encouraged to go there with her. So it's wonderful. I love her. I absolutely love her. And also another thing that I think is really wonderful in this day and age is, again, we sat down with the people that actually made Phantom. They created it, and we have a collaboration. Of course, again, there is tradition and style, but there is this exchange of ideas, as in, well, why does she do this? Why does she choose to do this? Why does she put herself in that situation? And the fact that there is a dialogue for the reasoning, I think, is also very empowering personally as an actor, because you feel that you can still make your mark, and within the constraints of this legacy of how can I bring something that's Meghan to the table as well. So it has been an absolute dream, and I can't wait to go back.
I can't wait to see you on the stage, actually. Maybe next spring, I can see you on the stage. But I love Christine as well. And then I feel a lot of passion from you on, for women's empowerment, which is great. And then I completely agree. And I'm curious to know if there was any moment or situation that triggered you to be so passionate about it, or is there any specific moment for you?
There's not a one specific lightning bolt moment for me. I have had the great privilege to be raised by a family and parents who both my mother and father have raised me to be a strong woman. I think this is something I'd like to touch base on too, is, feminism or women's empowerment, it's not just a women's issue, it's an everyone issue. Both men and women, however you identify, everyone has to come to the table to empower women. And so the fact that I was very luckily born into a family where my mother and father encouraged me to question authority. I'm feisty, I'm fiery, I can be a handful. And thank goodness they saw this light and fire and spirit, and they didn't try to quell it. They didn't try to shade it or crush it. They encouraged it. And I'm sure it was very difficult to raise me sometimes because, I have very strong opinions. I insist on certain things. I'm stubborn, but they fueled that passion and that fire. And because I had such a supportive family and have a supportive family and friends and mentors and a team of people, I searched for these people. And I believe that whatever you believe in, the universe has sent me like-minded, strong men and women that believe and support strong women. And because I have that supportive network literally all around me, particularly in my inner circle, I am able to constantly grow and blossom, regardless of the fact that, yes, things are not equal yet for women, even in the United States, particularly right now. And so the fact, though, that I do have this supportive network that is fierce, it doesn't mean that they don't question you or ground you or they don't challenge you. In fact, they do challenge you, but in a way that makes you stronger. I realize that this is a privilege, and it's complete privilege. Not every woman or someone who identifies as a woman is born into that type of situation. And so that in itself has helped me and continues to help me become a stronger woman each and every day of my life.
It sounds like you have such a nice family, and I completely agree with you that a lot of men still hesitate to advocate that they are feminists, because feminists are supposed to be female or women. So I think that's something we have to change, definition of feminist, what is it's okay to be, like you said, women being strong, men to be sensitive and emotional. I think that's great as a human, not as women or men. It's as a human being. I think it's really important to have those feelings. And
I think you touched on it. These traditional societal roles that you are supposed to play depending on what you've been born into or identify as. This is where we are human, and we have a long way to go. But I agree, being a feminist or whatever you'd like to call it, it just means you want to be equal. And we can be, you're right. The traditional sense that a man can't be sensitive and no. We are human beings, particularly right now in this pandemic, where as a species, we are all going through this. It doesn't matter where we're from, what religion we were born into, how we identify ourselves as. We are all going through this as a species, as human. And indeed, we're all feeling the gambit of emotions, however you actually put them out there. We're all feeling them. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, etc. So indeed, I hope that the work that has been done by our grandmothers, our grandfathers that supported strong women, we have a long road to go. And it's our generation, Aya, you and I, I'm a millennial. So we're still a younger, fresher generation that's getting our feet wet. But we have a very important role, which is to continue the work that the generations past have given us. With the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think, particularly myself, I can say, as a woman in this day and age, I'm suddenly scared about my rights. You realize what this trailblazing one woman did for us all. So think about if we all help each other, even if it's in the smallest, tiniest way. I don't think we will see the change that I wish I could see right now in my generation. But if we work, I feel that in a few generations, we could be there. We could hopefully be there. It's possible. But we have to do the work, So.
Yeah, I think like we all as women, we're hesitant to be like, we are just ordinary women, and like we don't really have power like our BG. But then like, the small things piles up and it will change another generation, I believe. So I think
I agree.
it's very important.
You don't have to be in politics to make changes. Just one woman being there for another woman or another man, like you said, a human to human, that is helping change. And those small, teeny changes add up. And they, before you know it, they compound themselves. Where then, yes, perhaps people that are in power that can make a change, they can listen to the people. This is another thing unique to the United States. We can vote. We have a voice. And I think it's a misnomer to think that, oh, my one voice won't count. Well, maybe just one won't count. But if we all come together to the table and say, this is what we need, this is what we feel, we can make a huge change. So people like our politicians can change those types of laws, etc., so that we can have our rights and we can have equality. So it does, ordinary or not, every single person is important, and we have to think that way. We have a voice, and for our brothers and sisters that are in societies that do not have a voice, well, we have the privilege of having it, so we need to act on that and take it, so we can even help those who don't have the right to vote, etc.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then you just told us about your, wonderful family and friends, your circle. But at the same time, have you ever discouraged or given up on something because you're a woman in any situation before, or you feel like you're neglected just because you're a woman? This is very sensitive topic, and I was not really sure if we should talk about it, but then at the same time, this is like a real conversation, and then we have to be as real as we can. So if you're comfortable sharing the story, I would like to hear about that.
Sure. Again, we have to know that this is my truth, so it's how I have taken in and experienced, but it is my truth. In general, I've never given up because I'm a woman, but I have felt that I've had to fight harder as a woman. Occasionally within even the business itself that I am currently in, and you can see it everywhere. I wish I didn't, but I do feel this pressure of, the age I am, I feel that there's this ageist attitude towards women throughout all of the arts, if not most professions. Feelings like, this is slightly off topic, but it kind of sums it up. When I've been in a lot of interviews, and I've found it doesn't matter where I am in the world, people, men and women alike, tend to ask me, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a spouse? Do you have kids? And my male counterparts, who are older than me even, won't have the same question. And I've always been slightly befuddled by this, because why does it matter? First of all, why does that matter? Second of all, and they might just be friendly or curious, but then why aren't you asking my male leads the same question? Why does it matter that a woman is married with children or not? I'm building an empire right now, and if I was a man, I feel, and again, this is my feeling, I feel I wouldn't have to even consider this. And so the fact that we're in 2020 and I still feel that pressure, and from the news and articles that you see, other actors, I don't even like to say actress, actors who are female or identify as female, have dealt with the same exact kind of behavior or questioning. Again, the ageism that's in our society, the fact that you'll see 20-year-old women with 50-year-old men paired together, but oh, God forbid you have someone that's the same exact age that's a woman. It's really frustrating, and I know that it's going to take, I'm hoping that our generation of women in the business, we can help change that when we are at a certain level of success. Because of course I feel that you can't trailblaze into things until you have attained a certain status where you can make the change. But you can be aware of what needs to be changed, and one day know that you will help. And it's going to take bravery, because not everyone's going to want to deal with that kind of woman in the business. But it is changing. I do see it changing. And again, it takes men and women alike to demand that women and men are paid the same in our business. And there are actors that do that. And thank goodness, it's going to take everyone. And also in the business in general, as there is this colossal change for the good that is happening, I would like to see more women directors, more women producers, more women music directors and conductors. Truly, we are not there yet. We're on our way, but we're not there yet. And I'd like to see more women in positions of power and deciding positions. And I think that will alter all of the professions for the good, quite frankly. So, but again, I don't feel, I've never been, I've never given up, but I do feel that I have to work harder as a woman. I do feel this, yes.
Just briefly mention about the pay gap, and then September 18th was actually the first ever International Equal Pay Day. And do you have any experience like you felt that you get less money just because of you're woman?
So this only happened to me, knock on wood, once so far, but generally that has not happened to me. I also have fierce agents, who are women, by the way, who fight for me. I mean, and sometimes it isn't a male-female issue. Sometimes it's how much experience do you have compared to the other person. However, it has happened to me once before, and it sticks with you when we realized I was being offered far less than a male counterpart. This is not currently, by the way. And my agents went to bat for me. They fought for me, and they won the issue. And thank goodness, because my role was massive. And to have, it didn't have to be just me. Anyone playing that particular role in that show should have been getting the same exact that the male lead was getting. So they had to fight for it. But it did stick with me because, again, we're in 2020 and you think things are equal, but they're not yet.
For every.
Again, this is not for everyone, and some yes. But the fact that still some is no, this is something we need to work on. This is a big deal. Or it even goes with, there are certain, and I won't name any names, there are certain programs for young artists in the opera world where, because there are many female singers, people that can sing soprano, etc., there's many of us compared to the number of men that are in the business, they will use a young artist woman to sing and they won't pay her. But then they'll bring in a man and pay him because there's less singers. See, this is the problem. This cannot happen. And so we have work to do.
I mean, I can't believe that that was first ever international equal pay day internationally. It has to have been for a long time, and then we just created that day. And then I don't know. This is very important. At the same time, we have having those days. That means we don't have the equal pay for women and men. We have to be really aware of that as well. And you just also talked about success for women and men. I feel the definition of success for women and men are different. And if you're 25 and as a woman, if you're 25, a man, maybe a lot of men would be said, you're building your career. But then 25 women would be said, are you planning to get married, or do you have a boyfriend, or what's your plan for the future? Not as a career, but building a family. So I wanted to ask you, how would you like that to be changed in the future? And what do you think is your maybe responsibility or a goal to achieve gender equality and women's empowerment as a woman, as a singer, or as a theater actress? I would like to hear about that.
Well, in general, obviously, society to society, even within the United States itself, it's very different what is deemed as traditional. I'm a New Yorker currently, and I do see my inner circle of women, we're all in career mode. We're all building. But I also have very strong women. By the way, I think it is worth mentioning, there are very strong women that are raising a family. And my goodness, they are powerhouses and Wonder Women. I think the biggest thing for me personally is leave me alone. If I want to have a family in 10 years or never, or 5 years ago, it is a human prerogative. But indeed, there are certain traditional roles that are still upheld by society and certain pressures. I still even, I wish I didn't, I do feel it as a woman that it's like, oh, should I have kid number 3 right now? No, it'll come, or maybe not. It's basically any person's prerogative. So the more that I wish that society itself would not put its own constraints and expectations on people, this is the way to go. Because also, think about that. How many great, anything, doctors, artists, professional sports players, if they gave up their dream because they felt the pressure of society saying, well, you need to have a family now. Well, why can't you have it later? And we are lucky enough to be in an age of science where even there are biological restrictions. This is something as someone—
That's something we can't change. That's something we can't change. So it's
not yet. At least not yet. We can't change. But do you know, I can't change that, of course, I have a biological clock. However, there are certain advances in science. One day, if I ever choose to go down certain roads, I'm too young to think about this right now. But indeed, there are certain advancements in technology now that are giving women also time that we didn't have before. Technological advancements in science where we can wait to have a family, if we so choose, until after our careers are going. And I think that's and for those women, my goodness, the Wonder Women and men who have decided to have children younger and do a career, I couldn't do that, honestly. I absolutely bow down to them. But it's possible. There are possibilities to do this now. So I think that is also freeing in a way, because on the biological, just pure biological side of things, now we have more time. We have more options. Should you choose to go down that route of having a family. So that is, I'm very grateful that as well, that our generation now has options to do that even my mother's generation perhaps didn't have. But it doesn't change the fact that indeed there is societal pressures for traditional roles. And depending on where you are in the world and the United States, it's stronger than others and they change. But just to achieve greatness on their own and be on their own timeline. Just because I'm not 21 and I haven't done, well, maybe I'm supposed to be my age and doing what I'm doing. And thank goodness, because I had a lot of life to live and figure out. Well, not a lot, but some.
And at the end of the day, you are the life of the captain. No one is going to take responsibility for your life. So do whatever you want to do. Don't be, giving up just because your gender you were born as. So I think
you are the captain of your ship. It does not mean that you will be on still waters. It's going to be a rocky ride sometimes. And also, yes, you will crash into those rocks of expectations, whether it's within your own profession or society at large. But you are captain in it. You are driving that ship, and you will go through the storm onto the other side if you keep going. And I think that's also why it's very important to find like-minded people, because here's the other wonderful thing about being in a global age with technology is, let's say perhaps that you don't find someone in your hometown that thinks like you. Well, now, not everywhere, because again, it is a privilege to have this technology, but those that do have access to it, you could find someone that's not in your locale that does think the same. And there are enough people that are like-minded where you can build your own tribe, as it were, as we say, your own group of people that will help drive you, that are on the same wavelength, the same path, so that you don't always feel that societal pressure at large. So it's possible with technology now to find those people. And I say, seek them out, find them, and uplift each other and support each other and encourage each other, because that's how you are going to achieve what you do.
Thank you so much, Meghan. I feel like we can talk about this topic non-stop, a whole day. Maybe if we can do it. Do we have time? Maybe not. Unfortunately, we are running out of time today. But as much as I would like to advocate the importance of gender equality and women's empowerment, we have other important topics to talk about today. So, Meghan, thank you so much for coming in today. It was a pleasure to have you. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you on the stage in spring. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
OK, thank you. そしたら
Thank you very much. So we're gonna hear your song, right?
Okay, next song is Sound of Music by Meghan Picerno.
Thank you very much, Megan. So the more I speak with you, the more I'm confident that I chose the right person to be a spokesman on the activity. For example, the people talk about 17 SDGs, but there's one more important preambles which shows that no one will be left aside. The diversity and inclusion is actually an overarching concept that SDGs, all the SDGs should be caring about. So what you share with us as a perspective is directly addressing those issues. So it's about a choice. We should have a choice, and we are equal humans, and there are a lot of people. So we have a choice to choose our own life and build our own life. So it's very important. So I have a question. So we are having the next event, like future events, like a lot of music-related events to promote this United Nations SDGs. And are you willing to keep in touch with us as a kind of spokesman, ambassador kind of artist? And
I would be honored. Yes, thank you. I would absolutely love that. I mean, global communication. Most of my friends are from all over the world, so I would be honored to. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have a lot of different SDG topic, but I'm feeling that maybe you can be also very eloquent messengers on each of the important sustainability topics to make the earth beautiful, to make the people happy and healthier. So it's a lot of different topics are waiting for you. So welcome to the world of SDGs.
Thank you. Yes, I love so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe other people have any question? 何か日本語で質問ありますか?
Can I just can I ask you just one thing?
Okay. Yeah.
In Japan, the feminism, like woman is always still in very unfair. We are very behind. So I just want you to give us, maybe because Japanese girls might sing today, so just give the Japanese girl or Asian girl some encouragement message to them.
Well,
Yes.
like I've been saying, so even if, one thing that I also have to touch on is each society also has its own beautiful traditions and wonderful things about those traditions wherever you are in the world. In the sense of empowering women, again, if you don't feel that you are receiving that kind of support within your own town, home, country, wherever it may be, look to other women elsewhere then, because there are areas that even within Japan itself, in fact, I call her my big sister. She is. The universe sent me a sister that they forgot to give me as blood. Her name is Chris Yamamoto. She's Japanese, and she is one of the most powerful, fiercest women I've ever met in my life. I'm serious. She's amazing. And she's from Japan originally, and I have to just say that, so again, just because you are born into a certain culture or country, I think that it doesn't mean that you can't attain that kind of empowerment. So for anyone watching, again, if you don't feel that your society, wherever it may be, is encouraging that kind of empowerment, meet people online if you can. Find people who that you know that stir your soul, that feel alive. And again, there are wonderful documentaries, there are wonderful speeches, you could take, I don't get starstruck with like actors, etc., but I do with wonderful women. Like our totally one of my
I see. Yeah, you were that. After your interview, I feel like, I was also empowered by your interview. So yeah, find out some people like you. Yeah, that's very good advice.
There are many people out there, men and women, and those who identify as other identities that are very empowering. And so if you're not feeling it within your locale, you can find it. The internet can be a very overwhelming, as I also feel, part of our life, but it also is very beautiful and it's very informative and very inspiring depending on how you use the tool. So if we use it in this way for the good, find those speeches by women, or even I have a very small platform compared to others, but I am very hyper aware of the fact that my demographic or my audience are 63% female from the ages of 18 to 35. So it's a rather young woman that is looking at my profile constantly. And I'm very aware of that. And yes, of course, there is levity, there's fun, but as much as I personally can, because I feel very strongly about empowering other women, I try to also infuse some strength and encouragement for those that come to my platform. And I think that I've also seen other strong females in my business who also have that kind of platform, encouraging strength and empowerment. So it's everywhere. It's on TikTok, it's on Instagram. You can find it even if you don't feel it presently in your actual physical location.
Thank you so much for your sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
マックさん、1個メッセージ来てるんで紹介しましょうか。日本人のファンから。Message for you by Toru Suzuki. Please continue to bring your beautiful voice to the people of the world. Thank you very much. 来てます。はい。
Thank you. I will.
ゆっこちん、せっかくやからなんか聞いたら？
メーガンさん、あやさん、ありがとうございます。メーガンさんのもうお顔とかも表現がすっごくこの英語が全部わからないんですけど、すっごい伝わってくるんですよ。はい。それが素晴らしくて、で歌声にも本当にうっとりしました。素敵です。
マックさん訳していただけますか
？Yes, so she's saying that she doesn't understand English quietly, but when she saw you expressing yourself, she can feel what you were talking about, and also she's very impressed and with their voice and also tone and some music. This is probably the power of music. Just even if you don't understand English, it doesn't matter. You just looking at how you describe things, and the feeling is already reaching to her. So this is a kind of message from her.
Thank you.
Thank you. じゃあ僕も最後短めに1個だけ英語で頑張ります。I saw the Phantom of the Opera at the theater in New York once. Thank you, Meghan. It was an honor to be with you. I wish you continued success and good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you very much. 言えたかな。じゃあマックさん、時間が来ましたのでこの辺りで残念ですけど、はい。
そうですね。Thank you very much. So so we wanted to spend the whole time with you, but we need to put an end. So thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you
Maybe
so much.
see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you. はい、これで
Bye bye.
ここでじゃあ
Thank you.
第1部の終了です。しばらくインターバルが来ます。引き続きご覧ください。
There's the intermission. So this is the ending of the first part. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. See you
Thank
again.
Bye. See you. Bye bye.